Welcome to Nonprofit Dreaming Solutions Spotlight today. And our guest and challenge solver is Pat McClellan with Proton 7 Group. And I'm going to turn it over to him and let him tell us his story.
Thank you. So I'm Pat McClellan. I've been working in the Salesforce ecosystem about 8 years and market Proton Text, which is an SMS texting app in Salesforce. And but in addition to that, this year I joined the board of a local nonprofit. I've been doing pro bono work for a local nonprofit here in Santa Barbara, the Organic Soup Kitchen, for the last couple of years. And this year I joined the board and I run their tech stack, among other things, and I'm involved in fundraising. And one of the things that I did after Nonprofit Dreamin', actually, I met, I reacquainted myself with Trish Barnard there from Fundraise Up, and we converted over from DonorBox to Fundraise Up. And so I've gotten involved in the integration between, the third-party platform. It might be Classy, might be Fundraise Up, might be DonorBox. There's a number of them. But they manage the recurring donations. And if a recurring donation fails because someone's credit card is out of date or whatever it is, the standard procedure is they send an email to the donor notifying them that their credit card failed and that it'll be retried in 24 hours. And then they try it the next day. And then they'll if it doesn't work that time, they'll try it one more time the following day. And after 3 times, they just stop. And that recurring donor moves to just inactive. Inactive. And there's nothing that comes to the organization that says, hey, you got to help us on this. You just notice that your numbers are going down on the recurring donation. And it's not because the donor has changed their intent or their dedication. It's just that they didn't read their email. And so the fact is that email, especially automated email, gets ignored. The read rate on that is in the low single digits, compared to texting, which is usually well above 90% and usually within 90 minutes of receiving it. People read their texts. They're shorter. They get to the point. So I want to show you what I built at the Soup Kitchen. So stand by. I'm going to share my screen here. Let me convert over here. And I'm going to share a window. Choose window. This window. Okay, so in PSP, they have an object that's part of the NPSP package called recurring donation, and that's this file here. And I've got that set up to sync from Fundraise Up when a recurring donation is initiated, and then it gets updated periodically, and each donation goes in as an opportunity. And so here, if you'll notice, if there is a retry, there is an automatic integration sync thing that happens that changes the status from active to retrying. Now, when that happens, that will trigger, I've set up a flow right here that will trigger whenever the record is updated and the status equals retrying. So let's just look and see, sorry, got my Google Meet stuff. So I'm going to save that with retrying. And now I'm going to go over and share a different window, present something else. Window, choose window. There we go. All right. And you can see this on my phone. I've gotten a text here. And that text says it's from Organic Soup Kitchen. There it is. Hi, Pat. Thank you for your ongoing support of Organic Soup Kitchen. Your monthly donation failed to process today. Perhaps your card has expired. Please check your payment information details at this, and it sends them to their donor portal where they can reset that. And that's what the, come on, shut me up. That's what the donor portal looks like. And if my card had failed, there would be an alert here, and I could go in and reset my payment information right there on the portal. So that's the whole solution right there. I'm going to go back and stop this. I'm going to present, go back to this window and show you more about this flow. So this flow just happens here on a recurring donation record whenever it's updated and the status equals retrying. Okay. Now, The only action here is a call out. It's a call out to Twilio to send this text message through Proton Text. And because that's a call out, you want to always run that asynchronously rather than immediately. And so asynchronous path here is this one action. This is an action that comes as part of Proton Text. It's just built into the app. Send SMS from notification number. So there's a phone number that's designated to be the number that all the automated notifications come from. So that's the number it's going to come from. The message body is a formula. So let's look at that formula real quick. That formula is just this: hi, and it inserted my name. Thank you for your ongoing support, blah, blah, blah. Perhaps your card is expired. Add a couple of breaks, and then reply stop to opt out of these notifications. That's just sort of best practice for text marketing or any sort of text communications. So that's the message body. Down here, I've put in the URL of the that's just a URL. It's publicly accessible URL of a file, and I've put the logo of Organic Soup Kitchen on here on Salesforce in the file. So that's what that is, so that the logo shows up on the message. And then the recipient ID is simply the contact from the recurring donation. And then there's this related record ID. This is the ID of the recurring donor record. And that's really useful if someone replies, if there's an inbound reply to this, that reply will set up a platform event that includes not only the message body and who it's from, but also what this is related to. So that's just sort of building in for later use. And that's all that we really need to send here. This is an Apex action that's part of the Proton Text app. There is an option here to send it to a group of recipients if you prefer, instead of just one. Down here, you can put in a different, if you've got multiple notification numbers, you can put in a different one here. And these two last parameters aren't needed in this situation where it's being triggered by an internal record change. Or even an external record change where the user is me. It's logged in user. I'm the integration user on this. So that's very easy. I'm going to show you real quick here on Proton. Oops, sorry, I typed it wrong. On protontext.com. Here in the documentation, I have an automation library. And in the automation library, you can see all of the Apex actions that come with the app. This is the one we were just looking at. It's fully documented, and it's got the explanation of how to use it and all of that. So really easy to use Proton Text with automation. Something that is not launched yet, but will be coming in before the end of this month, is I've added 14 MCP tools. So if you choose to use Proton Text or use texting with your agents, you'll be able to do that without ever logging into Salesforce to do so. So that's that. Any questions? I'll stop sharing temporarily and take questions.
I have so many questions, but if other folks have questions, I'll let them go first. Go ahead, Sarah. Just unmute and.
Oh, I was just trying to applaud. That was a good demonstration.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I will say my main question, and this is a bigger picture thing for us, is that we don't use anything like Class C or Fundraise Up. And so like figuring out for us, it's even a more basic of like, how do we know when somebody's credit card isn't going through, that piece of it? So like this is the next step once we get that piece solved.
Okay, so are you using Square or Stripe or a processor?
Yeah, we have currently, I mean, this is sort of a long story, but I'm trying to transition us from using a combination of form stack forms and Authorize to using Stripe that I can have more control over and all of that stuff. So really right now, we don't have a good way for people to update their credit card information when it's wrong, aside from create a new recurring donation or call us and we'll update it for you. And like, we don't like either of those options, obviously.
Right. Well, and Stripe, if you use Stripe and set up a recurring donation as a subscription, as a monthly subscription, you can, from Stripe, you go to the subscription page, and then there's a pull down menu. There's an action item to send a update link, so you never have to touch it.
Great.
So definitely I advise that, so they are never reading you the card or emailing
Yep.
your card or
Yeah.
texting
Oh, God
card
forbid.
number. Don't
Yeah.
You don't want to save that information. Better to
No, I don't want to touch it.
use the built-in capabilities. Stripe has got a good API. If you're
Okay.
comfortable
Yep.
working with that, you can probably have that send it. But what that will do for you will notify you by changing a record.
Yeah.
And then you still have to figure out, how am I going to get that message to the person immediately,
Right.
so that it will be noticed before the 48-hour window is up, when
Yep.
it lapses into into inactive.
Yeah.
It's a lot more tedious and just awkward having to call people to say, you gotta.
Yeah. Our
And then
membership coordinator would love to not
updated
have to have this phone.
once they've
calls.
updated it, then you have to go back and manually charge the missed payment. So it's kind of awkward. You might check into some of these platforms. There is a percentage, but it's kind of worth it.
Yeah.
Fundraise Up is what I've been using. I converted the organization from DonorBox to Fundraise Up. I was really impressed. They're using AI, and they've got lots of tools. And every time a donation goes through, you can format and send an image with an email, and it's beautiful. And that email that they get says, there's something down at the bottom. Could you increase your donation by $10? Your monthly, we really appreciate it, but if you can do this, we can do so much more. And so they're using AI to really push that engagement, and it more than pays for the 4%, whatever.
Yeah. I'm curious about how those platforms, and with your experience with Fundraise Up, since I haven't been able to play with it myself yet, how the records that it creates in Salesforce, does it have its own sort of custom object, or does it?
No, you just go into integration and you select either Nonprofit Cloud or NPSP.
Okay.
And it says, here's the default, change what you want.
Okay.
So, for example, in NPSP, you don't have to use the recurring donation record. You can just have everything come in as a opportunity, and then you can even format the way the name is, in there, the date, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty straightforward.
Okay. Yeah, we're using
answered one of my questions. So it works. So, and in fact, Proton Text works with both Nonprofit Success Pack and AMP and Nonprofit Cloud and just standard Salesforce.
Absolutely. Proton Text is just standard platform. Okay. It'll work across any of the clouds. And because I couldn't anticipate all of the ways that my customers might want to use automation, I didn't build those automations in. Instead, I equipped the app to work with flows seamlessly. So there are platform events that go off every time a text comes in, of different kinds, whether it's replying to a notification number or a reply to a blast or a reply to, a one-to-one. So that platform event goes off, in addition to the app automatically handling what you want to do with that. So, for example, a one-to-one text comes in, it just attaches it to the conversation, and then there's another flow that notifies the owner of that conversation that they've got a new text. So that's pretty easy. If they've replied to a blast, you look to the blast settings and see, oh, we want to auto reply to this, or oh, we want to forward this to the campaign manager, or we want to do whatever we want. There's a variety of options there. So in addition to that, there's this platform event that goes off, and you can then take that platform event to trigger a flow to do whatever you want. That platform event includes all kinds of data about the message, who it's from, if it's a contact, lead, whatever it is. You get all of that in, and then you build your flow. And then almost always when you've got a text triggered flow, is you want to acknowledge that. And so there are a set of Apex actions that allow you to send it either as a notification or as a message, a one-to-one message from someone. So there's a lot of options there. I've even got Apex actions to do silly, easy things that aren't about texting, like converting a date time into a local string.
Ooh.
All right.
I've thought about writing that myself so many times.
Formula and trying to figure out what am I going to do when the time change, right? When you want savings time. It's one line in Apex. And so I just built this Apex action that's there. You can go and download it off my website and use it for anything, but just takes that date time and converts it into a local string. So Easy things like that.
Awesome. And it looks very customizable, Pat, as far as, what I want to say. I mean, my voice is very different probably than Sarah's, and so I mean, from what I saw when you were showing us the flow itself.
So, yeah, in that flow, that message, I didn't use any of Proton Text's merge variable resolution. That's just a standard formula where you're taking so that's standard. Separate from automated. So like in blasts and in one-to-one and in the quick response templates that you can build, those you can put in any kind of a merge variable that it ships with all of the standard ones that you'd want on the contact and the related account, right, the lead, and so you can pull those in. Just those are straight up built in right there. You can just use them. However, you can create your own, because all of those merge variables are handled as custom metadata types. And so you can go into your custom metadata types in setup and see all of the ones that are there, and then build a new one. Because I've got a custom field for a nickname, or I've got a custom field for a parent's name, or I've got whatever, and I want to use that. Easy to do. Easy to do. I would encourage you, I know we only have about 8 minutes left here. I would encourage you to check out protontext.com. A lot of the features are on there. I also have got a little help agent that I built. His name is Milo. He sits down there in the bottom right corner, and Milo knows a lot about the app and about texting and opt-in and opt-out management and whatever you need. The app also has real-time Google Translate for one-to-one if you need that. A lot of my nonprofit customers are dealing with rotating staff that have varying degrees of bilinguality, if that's the right term, bilingual capabilities, and they're dealing with, in many cases, 3, 4, 5 languages among their clients that they're serving, and they need to be able to speak those languages or at least communicate at some level. So that's a real time. It's very fast. You see, you type it in English, it goes out in Vietnamese, and you see both displayed. Wow. So lots of
I could see for schools, especially for K through 12, that would be invaluable.
Yeah, I've got 4 universities and a number of programs serving younger kids, like Youth Symphony, the UK Youth Symphony. Also a youth symphony in Washington. What's the just outside of Seattle? I forget. Where Bill Gates lived. I forget. It's not Redmond, but anyway.
Bellingham. I don't know.
They're serving a lot of kids. I've got a couple of parochial schools using it, and for them, I built in a feature called Fast Blast. So the blast capability is where you want to schedule something to go out at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's going to go out to this list of 500 people, right? You build that with campaigns and set up the blast and all of that. They needed, this was a Jewish preschool, or a preschool associated with a temple in Los Angeles. And they had like 200 kids or something. And they were concerned with 2 things: wildfires and shooter on campus. Mm-hmm. And they needed a way to, with the blast, because of the way Twilio has it, you have to schedule that at least 15 minutes in advance. And right. They said, wait 15 minutes. And so I created a feature called Fast Blast for them, where they set up the blast, they click on Fast Blast, and it goes out right now to all of those parents to either your child is locked down and safe, or come and get your student right away because we're evacuating for wildfires, whatever it is. So all of the best features, the Google Translate, the Fast Blast, even the blaster itself and the way that it handles things, all came from the input from my customers saying, how can I handle out of office? I don't want these texts to go unanswered when somebody's out of office. So I built in an out of office feature. So I'm like, yeah, that would be something good for everybody. Sometimes it's a situation where they've got a need that nobody else is ever going to have. And in that case, I can work with either their consultant or consult directly to them and say, look, I would build a flow that does it this way. Here's how you can do that. So,
could you speak for a moment? I know I joined late, but about the Twilio part, we use Zoom phones
Yeah.
for our texting, and I don't know if this would we would need to convert to Twilio or like.
You would.
Okay.
You would. So Proton Text, there are other providers out there, but I use at the time and still, if Twilio is kind of the 800-pound gorilla. And so I built this, and Proton Text is essentially a Lightning or Salesforce native implementation of Twilio's APIs. There is Twilio for Salesforce, which launched like months before I was literally the day that I was ready to submit it for security review. And I thought, okay, I am sunk. Twilio's doing this.
I'm sure yours is better.
Guess what? They're still in beta.
Yeah.
They're still in beta.
That's the thing about being an 800-pound gorilla. You move slowly.
Right. And really all they were doing, they had sort of an objective to build this out, to make it possible for Salesforce developers to attract Salesforce developers into their authoring platform, because they've got flows, they've got things they want you building on their site. So I just made mine the most Salesforce that it could be. All the records are saved in Salesforce. You can create reports, you can do all of that kind of stuff.
And much more admin friendly, Pat. I mean, it's not. Yeah, so if you don't write code, it's okay. You don't have to write code to use Proton Text.
Absolutely.
That's important for me. All right. Any other questions? We do need to wrap up here, and
it's very informative. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Check out the website, and if you've got clients or direct, if you got clients or just want it for yourself, let me know, and I'm happy to give you a full demo of the capabilities. We can set up a Zoom anytime.
Yeah, thanks, Pat.
Sure.
Awesome.
Thanks, Akash.
Thank you all so much for being here, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, Pat.
All right. Take
Thanks,
care.
Pat. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.